Hello and welcome to another reading vlog. So this week I'm just mood reading as per usual. I've got some themed vlogs scheduled for this month. They will be done at some point, but I have already read some books. So let's get straight into it. And we're starting off with a 5-star read. And I'm really happy about it because it was the book that I chose for my 5-star prediction, and Mama was on the money. So this is The Tinker's Daughter by Josephine Angelini, the second in the Chronicles of Lucitopia. And in this one you had the virgin Janata being sacrificed to the dragon, but the dragon ain't eating that innocent meat no more. He's on a fish diet.
Ooh, fish, right on.
But he wouldn't mind some company. Now this is definitely more adult than her other one, but that being said, despite there being like descriptions of people's boobs or, you know, brushing knuckles against a peen and a bit of kissing, there wasn't any description of sex scenes and that sort of thing. So it was still fairly tame, a little bit saucier than the first one, just, you know, because these are adults in this, but not heavy spice. If this was heavy spice, this is what I would want in a dragon romance. Like, yes, please. I loved everything about this dragon, and I can't get into details about that because, you know, this author has her own sort of creature, mythology, lore thing, but I liked the way this dragon romance was depicted and what they could do and all the things associated with that. Definitely a book boyfriend. Janara was also amazing. She's just a great character. She takes charge. She figures out how to help and jumps right in and is independent and still kind and loving and just all round fantastic character. You have this evil sorcerer Asphodel in this again. So he was in the first one and he's still giving me mad Loki vibes. This guy is super hot but does dreadful, awful things in order to be king. And yet I still smell a redemption arc on the horizon. You know what I mean? Like, there's too many little bits of moments where, oh, he could actually be a really good person, like deep down inside, and he's just so fucking beautiful. I'm like, this is giving me Loki. It's giving me Loki, but like, this guy has done even more questionable things than Loki, to be honest with you. So I don't know, but I feel like that's going to happen at some point. It's gotta be. The foreshadowing is heavy with this guy having a redemption arc, or at least having his own main character book, you know, with the villain, with the morally dark grey character. Because all the chicks in this too just seem to have mad chemistry with him. Like all of them are just, he's just like, oh, there's something going with you and I, like, yes. So I think eventually he's going to be thrown a bone in some way. Wink, wink. But I love this. So this was just such a fun fucking time. It was, adventure book where there's a quest, there's a bad guy and there's good guys and they got to fight each other and there's magical beings and it's a magical land, and it's still got that twist where this is a land that is connected to Earth. So some people from Earth do come here to live out like their real life LARPing fantasies come true. This would be like a wet dream for Ren Ferris, to put it simply and crudely. But it was a 5 stars and I loved it. So good time. I will read the next in the series. It is not out yet. You can only get it on Kindle, and I'd rather get a physical copy. I will think I'll have to buy it because my library, I don't think they'll get it within a decent time frame. Let's be real. It'll be a year's time and no thank you. So I think I'll end up purchasing that at some point. But that was a great start to the week. So let's look at the other books that I've also already read. So we have Hard Copy by Fien Veldman. So this is a translated fiction, and I chose this one for one that I probably do not think is going to be a 5 stars because it has a 3.3 rating on Goodreads. I liked it more than the average gentry, so I gave this a 3.5 stars. Basically, you have an odd office worker who bonds with her printer, with the office printer. The way that this book is set up, I will say, is misleading, suggesting that this is a romance between a woman and her printer. It's not. She's just personified her printer and talks to it as if it's a friend, because her job is to sit in a little room with said printer and do all the printing and sometimes answer emails. So this definitely reminds me a lot of some other sort of everyday 9-to-5 worker job books. You've got this, I would say this is an amalgamation of the book Ripe, which is probably my favorite thus far of that kind of genre, The New Me, Winter in Sokcho, and The Convenience Store Woman. So if you do like any of those books, this might be up your alley, but it is a lot stream of consciousness in the main character's mind. She's not given a name, and I think that the author does that. So this could literally be just anyone who is a cog in the corporate machine, basically. And I did love her sarcastic comments about that. I thought they were fantastic. It was reminding me of Jane from Daria. There is one small chapter that's in the printer's POV. I'm gonna name him Perry. He feels like a Perry, and I loved that. So the printer does have its own consciousness, and it was lovely to see their observations of the world and how they feel about this woman who takes such good care of them. And it was so sweet, man. It hit me in my heart, and I was just rooting for these two. You know, I'm like, I hope you guys find some happiness in this world, and if that's just with each other and taking care of each other, that's beautiful. The writing was also lovely. This is translated. I think there were some just wonderful, beautiful little jewels of sentences strewn throughout in this one, and little facts too that I learned. For instance, that dust, a percentage of dust is actually fragments of meteorites that have burned up while entering our atmosphere, and that's just made me look at dust through a much more magical lens than I used to.
Dust! Anybody? No? High and fat, low and fat. Dust. Anybody? No? Dust.
It is slow paced, so it did take me a little while to get through it. And like I said, it's if you don't like the main character stream of consciousness, you won't like the book, because that is the majority of it besides the printer chapter. But yeah, I enjoyed my time with it. I gave it a 3.5 stars. And then I listened on audiobook to Kind of, Sort of, Maybe, But Probably Not by Imbi Neem. So this is set in Australia, in Melbourne. So I do like books that are set in my hometown because it's very easy to place. I did give this a 3.25 stars, though. This is what I would call, I guess, women's fiction, chick lit. Is that the term? I think that's the term. And you have two young women who both struggle with setting boundaries, unhealthy relationships, and actually doing what's best for them. And that's the most frustrating part in this. Just one of the characters, Suze, is obsessed with an absolute fuckboy. Okay, this guy is the worst.
The worst!
And so reading her continually just putting all of her self-esteem and pride just on the floor to once again allow him back into her life, it was just painful. It was painful, and I hated reading it. And when her friends would be like, don't do this, you're making a mistake, and she's like,
whatever, I do what I want.
I can't help it. I like this guy. I can't. Like, I'm not a 20-something anymore. We're past that. We are past that. We have standards, right? and healthy attachment styles and coping mechanisms these days. So I couldn't read about that. And the other character is a librarian named Phoebe, and she has misophonia. So sounds really cause her a lot of internal chaos and dysregulate her immensely. So people chewing on things, and her way of coping with it is to completely avoid as much social contact as possible. She just keeps everybody away, and instead of being vulnerable and opening up about her condition and saying, hey, well, this is what's actually going on, she just ices them out and abandons them basically without telling them why. So didn't love that. There is a small slight mystery element in this, in that the girls are brought together by a pack of mysterious postcards that were not sent to this person, but that they have discovered, and they were addressed to where Phoebe is currently living, which is her house. It's been in her family for a long time. So the women try to discover who the postcards are meant for so that they can deliver them, and that comes with its own little twist and surprise, which was like sort of reminding me a little bit of maybe the Seven Husbands of Evelyn Hugo a little bit, but not really anything exciting. So yeah, this book overall was very mild. It was okay. I didn't love it. It passed the time. So it was a 3.525 stars for me. But like I said, if you like chick lit, you like relationships between friends and women and romantic relationships and mysteries of unrequited love, this might be for you. Then I read Beneath the Trees Where Nobody Sees by Patrick Horvath. This is also an art from NetGalley, and I did go way out of my comfort zone with reading this, so I am going to preface that, but I wanted to try it out. Basically, this is like Dexter meets the Care Bears. We have Sam the bear, who's a serial killer. She likes to go into the city and slice and dice dem city folk in her spare time, but she makes sure she doesn't shit where she eats. She leaves her townsfolk alone. However, another serial killer has moved into the neighborhood and has no such moral qualms or quandaries and is massacring the people in her town. And she's decided that she's got to do something about it, because even though she doesn't hunt in her town, she does bury her kills in her town. So she can't risk being found out for her extracurricular hobby. The illustrations are gorgeous. I love them. They are violent and gory. So this has intricate depictions of the massacres and dissections and vivisections and all of that jazz. It's too much for my absolute wuss of a heart and eyes. It doesn't matter that the animals are cute and cuddly. It was too slasher for me. But if you love slasher stuff, if you love cuddly, gorgeous animals, then these two will combine to give you something amazing. So I absolutely think if this is your genre whatsoever, this is a fantastic read. I'm just not the reader for it. It was too much for me, but I think this is very well done for what it was and what it is. It's going to be a series. But yeah, I never watched, I didn't like Dexter, I didn't like Hannibal, even though I love the creator of Hannibal. I can't handle slasher murder stuff. Can't do it, unless it's Pushing Daisies, we're like, it's different. It's different on that one. The murder's very easy to stomach. So yeah, this wasn't for me. But I think it is well done and a lot of people would really enjoy it. And it comes out, let me tell you when it comes out. It comes out in October this year. And then I read Fever Dream by Samantha Schweblin. I gave this a 2.5. So this was also on my list to be read this month. I am, like I said, I am trying to hit those TBR books early, get them done and dusted so I don't leave any behind. Basically, you have a kid who gets poisoned. It seems like it's by pesticides. That's what I think it's alluding to. They get poisoned. The mother then takes her to what seems to be some kind of witch doctor to save them. And the cure for that is to separate the child's soul. So half of their soul goes into the body of another child, half sort of stays behind. That way the poison is split so it can't kill the child, but the mother will never find out what other child's body her son's soul went into. This is very vague. Welcome to another ambiguous book. Basically what happens, it fast forwards then to another mother and daughter getting caught up in this sort of shenanigans. And this book is called Fever Dream because that's what it feels like. It's just this very confusing, sweaty mess where you're not sure whether you're hallucinating or just in a messed up situation, but it just leaves you anxiety ridden the whole read because you just feel this sense of dread. Like, what is happening? What's going on? How's this going to end? I wish I could tell you because all I'm left with is confusion. There are no real answers. I don't know. And I don't like not knowing. I don't like it. So I gave it 2.5. It wasn't an enjoyable read for me. It's very short though, very quick to get through. I think this has, like I said, a certain kind of reader would enjoy this. It's not moi. So yeah, that one wasn't for me. This was also translated fiction. I believe the original language was Spanish. Now, I just went to the library and I picked up some books, and I think I'm going to read one more book for this particular vlog. And the book that I'm going to pick is this one. So this is called Bright Objects by Ruby Todd. It says, a once-in-a-lifetime comet, long-held secrets, far-reaching consequences. And down here it says the X-File meets Nick Cave's Ghostine. So that's kind of what sold me on this one. I don't know much about it, but I'm interested to see. I don't know what I think. I don't like this cover. So this is this cover. It has another one, which I think I prefer the other one. But it's, how many pages is this? Over 400. So it's over 400 pages. It's a decent amount. But I think this will be the last book that I read for this vlog. I did pick up some other books. We've got this one here, which is Just Like Home by Sarah Gailey. So this is a horror book. Look, the cover got me. I'm a sucker for a pink, turns out. And I had such good luck with the other pink books. But I'm aware that this is not my regular genre. And so I will just give it 50 pages max and decide then. I've got this one here, which is The Blue Book of Nebo by Manon Stefan Ross. I saw this on Books and Lala, and she absolutely loved it. And my library had it for immediate borrowing. So I got that straight away. It won the 2018 National Eisteddfod Prose Medal and the 2019 Llyfr y Llydwyn Wales Book of the Year. So maybe this is Welsh, but we'll see if I enjoy it. And then we've got this for Indy. This is the latest in the Aaron Blabey series, The Bad Guys. She loves these books. She finds them hilarious, so that's for her. In other news, I had a viewer send me an Amazon gift card. I was not aware that that was a thing that could happen. I know that on YouTube you've got the super thanks button, which allows you to donate money to the person. I didn't know that someone could send you cards just based on your email. So I was floored. And at first I thought, no, I can't accept that. And then friends and family said, stop being an idiot. This person's done something really nice for you and shown their appreciation. Accept it graciously and say thank you. So that's what I'm doing. I did message them and they did not want to be like named specifically, but so it just feels so. Thank you very, very, very much. This person has always left really lovely comments and has always been very supportive of me on here. Oh, I have to move it so you can see Sylvie. And they sent me, I'll tell you the actual message that they sent, put up a little thing of the message that they sent to me. And yeah, they've said, go and get some books and some snacks. So that is what I have done. Because they sent it, I think from America, it was tied to the American Amazon page. Obviously in Australia, we normally use amazon.com.au, but I couldn't transfer it to that one. I had to purchase from amazon.com. So everything was obviously a lot more expensive because it has to be shipped to Australia. So, but I did my best to try and get as many things as I could for the amount that they sent, which was incredibly generous. And also mostly books too that I know my library will not get in, but they're on my want to read list. And then I tried to pick some snacks as well. There was a lot of food that obviously that could not be sent to Australia from America because of, you know, they're not on the approved list. It's funny, even stuff like fudge. I thought fudge is packaged. Why is that not allowed to be sent here? But Australia's quite strict with food stuff. But I did manage to find some snacks. Going to do a whole vlog. There's no cat there anymore. Dedicated to that, to the snacks and the books that I purchased thanks to the kindness of one of my viewers. So once I get all those, you'll see that. But yes, that was very kind and yeah, it makes me feel so. I'm just like a little mom in Australia I just made this channel just so I can talk about the books I read, because I had to leave my job as a librarian, and that was really upsetting for me. Just my chronic health conditions, I couldn't actually do the job anymore. It's way more physical than you would think. It was too hard on my little fragile body with all of its conditions, so I couldn't work there anymore, and I was just really missing being able to talk about books to people who like books. And so I started this channel as a hobby on the side so I could geek out on something I love. Same with the tarot. My tarot channel was the same situation. I love tarot, didn't have anybody in my real world. And yeah, just that other people that find enjoyment or joy from watching my channel, that makes me so happy. And the reason that I also made an email so that people could contact me if they needed to was because I had a lot of people that wanted to talk to me regarding my psilocybin video that I made detailing my experience with using that and its effect on my mental health. And they didn't want to obviously talk about personal things on YouTube in the comment section, so I made an email so they could talk to me about that. But yeah, then I've had someone send me something, which is really lovely, and I had someone else ask if I wanted to be sent a deck. I declined because I already have the deck, so I'm like, send it to someone who doesn't have it, thank you, but I've already got it. So yeah, it's weird. It's still weird for me. You know what I mean? I just still feel like I am sort of in this little bubble, and then people from the outside world like, hello, and I'm like, oh my god, hi. How are you? And like I said, I have to work more on receiving in terms of, you know, people's help or kindness or generosity or gifts and things like that, and feeling okay with that, not feeling like guilty for someone doing something nice to me, feeling like I don't deserve it. It's weird, but I'm working on it, definitely working on it, and I will pass the generosity on. I might do a book giveaway. I think would be a nice way for me to pay it forward for my birthday. I might give away some books and send them somewhere. Not a lot of books though, because yeah, I did a giveaway I think last year, and I sent a lot of books, and I paid like $150 in shipping. That was too much. I was like, okay, there's a weight limit. We've got to do a weight and size limit, otherwise it's a lot just on shipping. So I might do that, but just wanted to mention that and just to say thank you directly to this person. I already cried, and I promise I won't do it again because I did my makeup, god damn it. But thank you very much. I really do appreciate it, and I'm very excited to get the books. Because yeah, most of the books I read, as you know, are from the library. I hardly ever buy. This was the first year I think in my life that I've bought more than 2 books this year, and that's because I've been buying them for the Wild Ones book club to support independent bookstores But yeah, it's very expensive. I don't know how everybody else does it, where they get most of their books from purchases, because I would be broke. I know I read a lot, that's probably why, but yeah, thank God for libraries. But it is nice to have, you know, a book that no one's touched and read before and has a new book smell. And if I really love it, then it can be part of my library forever. And if I don't, I can give it to somebody else as a gift, which is nice. So I already went out today to the cafe and got some treats to eat because Indy's at home today, as it was parent-teacher interview day. And this has been her best year yet. So she's come a long way. She's doing well. That's all that I have on the agenda today. I think this week I've got to do the wrap up, so I have to film them at some point. And I'm going to get back into dating, get back on that horse. So I've already got some people's profiles that I think we're compatible, and I'll start some conversations. Obviously, if I go on dates, I'll let you know, but I talk about that more in depth on my other channel. But once I have finished reading, Where Is It? Bright Objects, I will let you know how it went.
How disappointing.
Yeah, okay. Where do I even begin with this? So this is a book about a widow battling with grief who makes some questionable choices, to be honest. There is a side plot here of vehicular manslaughter, a very cool comet called the St. John Comet, and Kool-Aid cults. So with the main character, the beginning of the book, I did enjoy it. The author's writing is beautiful. It's one that I had to slow down and take my time with, but the way that she was also depicting the grief that the main character Sylvia was going through brought tears streaming down my face. It hit me emotionally, so I really loved the depictions of grief in this. We know grief is a major theme that I tend to really enjoy in books because I feel it deeply. So I loved that part. However, I would say Sylvia is not a sympathetic or warm character. So keep that in mind as well. I didn't particularly resonate with her. And this book is definitely a blend of genres. In the beginning, it was feeling like a litfic with, you know, the Sylvia's internal emotional landscape and the writing style. And then it was leaning more towards the mystery genre because Sylvia was trying to get justice for her husband's death/murder. And then it just very much quickly escalated into the thriller area with the more cult aspect coming into play. But yeah, this just ended up going in such a wackadoodle direction. It was over the top. I almost launched this book across the room when I finished it. I got very frustrated with the ending in particular. It didn't make sense to me in terms of Sylvia's character. I thought after all of these years of wanting justice, Sylvia really that easily, Sylvia? What? That is also the romance in this too. No, thank you. No, thank you, sir. But yeah, it went bonkers. And I'm like, what is this? What? I just was completely thrown off guard and perplexed by the direction of this book and the flavor. What is this? I don't know. Maybe people like a mix of genres. Maybe people like it to all of a sudden veer to the soap opera dramatic side. I don't. So I gave this a 2.75. Before then, it was feeling like a 3.5. I will say that it did need some cutting down. I felt like it could have been trimmed because it was lagging in some areas. But yeah, then just everything that happens at the end, what? But maybe, like I said, some people really thoroughly enjoy that and add spice and flavor. But for me, it just didn't make sense. And therefore, I was just left feeling confused and hoodwinked in a way. But yes, the ending, no. Look, I get it. Lady hasn't gotten any in a very long time, but questionable choices, Sylvia. Apologize for making you watch me with the lipstick, but I could not review that again. So let's look at all of the books in this blog. So we had The Tinker's Daughter by Josephine Angelini, which was my favorite read of this video, about a virgin firecracker, the dragon she befriends, and their quest to vanquish an evil sorcerer. Highly recommend. Rollicking good time. Hard copy by Fionn Veldman, which I gave 3.5 stars, and that is about a typical 9-to-5er in the office corporate world who befriends a printer so she can just make it through the day. Basically, that's her support animal. Kind of, sort of, maybe, but probably not by Imbi Neem. I gave this 3.25 stars. Hello, Sylvie. Hello, my baby. And this is about two young girls who are brought together thanks to a mystery pack of postcards. And it just looks at their life living in Melbourne in their 20s, navigating all of their messy relationships. And then we have Fever Dream by Samantha Schweblin, and I gave this a 2.5 stars. And like I said, if you want the feeling of being in a fever dream, this book will do that to you. It's about a mother and her daughter who get caught up in this sort of pesticide poisoning, witch doctor, soul-splitting children mystery. We have Bright Objects, which I gave 2.75, about a widow who gets caught up in the town's frenzy about the comet and a cult and her husband's murder, and really with a really off-putting, bizarre romance. Really, Sylvia. And then we have Beneath the Trees Where Nobody Sees by Patrick Horvath, which I didn't rate because it's just not my genre, but I think it's a fantastic book if you're looking for a slasher horror graphic novel that features super cuddly, almost fairy tale-esque creatures, then it would be for you. And those are all of the books that I read for this reading vlog. Until next time, stay well, Star Child.